What an attractive looking room. First of all, can we just say thank you so much? I'm really pretty humbled and honored to be in a group of such inspiring people. And I'm going to do something pretty embarrassing, which is start by telling you that most of my life has been nothing but a constant pursuit of more, more, more. And this was driven a lot out of scarcity. Let me not trip on this wire. Yeah. By scarcity, I mean my mother never graduated high school, and my father was a drug dealer. So there, I just said it out loud. That's embarrassing to say in the room. So I was driven out of scarcity to pursue my version of more, 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 which was not only was I the first person in my family to go to college, but I had to go get a PhD get this theoretical large language models. Started that in 1999 before this mayhem happened now. And that wasn't enough. I had to go get job offers and listen to all those stupid companies that amazing companies that I worked for in the past. And that wasn't enough because I was sitting there chasing, the titles and status that go along with it. But then, it's hard to talk about, and I'm happy to talk about, but I had what I've think about now as a lightning bolt moment in life. And if you've had one of these lightning bolt moments in life, I'm really sorry. And if you haven't, I'm really sorry, because at some point you will. And it starts to derail you, and you start to think, okay, what's actually happening here as I'm pursuing more and more and more is that I need to go to an intentional pursuit of better, better, better. And I realized that the trade-off from all of that more, more, more was the things I was giving up, which included my own time, with my own connection with people that were close in my life, the communities that I was building, and really meaning in my life. And so I've been on a real quest, to understand what we can do about this trade-off. But we have to understand that we are all living in a world of more, more, more. And it's been like this for quite a long time. When I first joined YouTube back in 2011, 2010, it was all dogs on skateboards. I'm telling you, it was Charlie Bit My Finger, Nyan Cat, Double Rainbow. All of our rooms were named after it. And in fact, it's really true that Mark Zuckerberg still wanted to make the world a better place. But the big question for me is that the pursuit in business that I always saw in the more, 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 and it's the lifeblood for so many people, is the ROI and the efficiency and the productivity that we're all chasing. But as I started to go up and up and up through these companies, I started to say, what is the trade-off that we're making to better? And for me, that's really been about the desired human outcomes that we want to produce from what it is that we're building out in the world today. And so that's been a huge part of my business, is to try to understand what it is that we can move the spotlight from more to better. And we need to do that because of where we're at today. We're at a place, due to some of the work that I've done, we have to look at the data. More than a third of teens say that they use social media almost constantly right now. Again, not 100% due to the work I did, but it didn't help. Beyond that, we are in a place where 1 out of 5 men and boys report having 0 close friends. 0 close friends. So we're in a place now where we've created a lot of loneliness. And then maybe the most shocking bit of all is that around 80% of US voters can't even agree on the most basic facts, let alone the values that we have. So this is where we find ourselves today in the boom and the early days of AI, which everybody has been talking about. And studying theoretical large language models starting in the 90s and looking what happened today makes my head spin. But what I see is the same thing that I saw in the early days, which is this myopic pursuit of just the glimmer of gold in people's eyes, with 92% of growth coming from investment in AI companies. And meanwhile, we're all sitting there wondering, is that thing real or fake? Is that thing true or hallucinated? Is everything I read on LinkedIn by a bot? And for the record, I used M-dashes a long time ago, before ChatGPT used M-dashes. M-dashes are wonderful. Let's just say that for. Okay. So, the big push for me has been to figure out what it would take to move some of the spotlight from just ROI, efficiency, productivity at all costs, which are deeply important, to the desired human outcomes that we're really looking for. And for me, this really comes down to doing, I think, one thing. And this one thing is going to come up right now, which is we need to double down on what it means to be human in our work and in our lives. So we heard Esther talking about this earlier, but it's really true that the doubling down on humanity is what is going to help us move some of that spotlight. And by that, I kind of have a little bit of a framework for how to think about that. We can all agree on what it is that humans do well, but at the end of the day, we do sense making. We understand where are we right now in the world? Where are we and how are we grappling with the forces that we're seeing in the world right now? Once we're able to do some kind of sense making, we do choice making. What is it that you actually want? What kind of outcomes are you looking to drive to? And then once you're able to do some sense making and some choice making, this is where you can actually do some change making, which is how are you going to adapt to the circumstances that we're all in now? And that funnels down into one central question for me, which is what do better outcomes look like for you? This is really where I'd want to leave you, is for saying, how are you making sense of the world, what it is that we're making choices to do, and how are we adapting to the changes in front of us? Because this is truly what I think is going to take moving from the spotlight of more to a spotlight of better. So I really thank you for a perspective from this, and I look forward to any questions, thoughts, or hatred you have for me for saying any of things with so much gratitude.